My dad is one of those people who is just incredibly naturally good with money. He's Chinese, and he taught me a ton about how to handle my finances. So today I want to share some of what I learned from him and demystify this huge question. How on earth do Chinese people save so much more money than the rest of us?
Okay, let's just dive right in, because these numbers are absolutely wild. In China, the gross savings rate is almost 46%. So for every $100 someone earns, nearly 46 of them get saved. Now look at the United States. We're sitting at just around 5%. Yeah, you heard that right. That is a nearly tenfold difference. It's incredible.
So, what is going on here? I mean, seriously, how can two of the world's biggest economies have such a massive, monumental gap in how their people manage money? It's a real mystery, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today.
To really get to the bottom of this, we first have to understand the deep cultural differences that shape how we think about money. It goes way beyond just dollars and cents. This stuff is rooted in history and philosophy.
This slide really lays it all out, doesn't it? It's like two different worlds. On one side, you've got the US, where, especially after World War II, spending became the name of the game. We're bombarded with ads, easy credit, and that constant pressure to keep up with the Joneses. But then you flip over to China, and it's almost the complete opposite. The culture really emphasizes saving. There's a deep-seated dislike of debt. Most people would much rather save up and pay for something in cash than ever take out a loan. And this quote from comedian Ronnie Jiang just nails how ingrained this is. During Chinese New Year, the biggest holiday of the year, the most common greeting isn't Happy New Year, it's Gong Xi Fa Cai, which literally means, I hope you get rich. Think about that. The idea of wealth and prosperity is right there, front and center in how people greet each other.
But, it's not just about culture. That's a huge piece of the puzzle, for sure, but there's more to it. Let's move on, because there are some really powerful systemic and demographic forces that have made saving a flat-out necessity, not just a preference.
Okay, take a look at this. For decades, China's one-child policy had this kind of double whammy effect. With fewer kids, parents obviously had more money left over to save, but it also created a big gender imbalance, which meant that men had to save up a lot more money to be seen as a good catch for marriage. And then, on top of all that, you have a system without the same kind of safety nets we have, like 401ks or IRAs. People have to save like crazy to pay for their own retirement, their own healthcare, and education. It's a kind of forced self-reliance.
So we've talked a lot about the why. Now let's get to the good part, the how. What is the actual secret here? Well, spoiler alert, it isn't some complex financial wizardry. It's a system, a beautifully simple and incredibly effective system.
In the West, we actually have a name for this. It's called zero-based budgeting. And the concept is super simple. At the end of the month, your income minus everything you spend should equal zero. The best way to think about it is like this. Your dollars are your employees, and you're the boss. You give every single dollar a specific job to do. And jobs includes everything, not just rent and bills, but also your most important employees, savings, investments, and paying down debt. Every single penny gets put to work. And here's what it looks like in practice. Let's say your income is $4,000. You cover your essential bills, sure. But then, right away, you assign money to your goals. You're funding your emergency savings, you're contributing to your IRA, you're saving for a new car. You work your way down the list until you get to that final line, amount left over. Zero. Now, that doesn't mean you're broke. It means you're in complete and total control. Every dollar is accounted for.
So you've got the system, which is the what. But what about the mindset that drives it all? What's the philosophy behind it? Well, it really boils down to 4 core principles that just turbocharge your ability to save.
Here they are, the 4 pillars of the saver's mindset. First, avoid status goods. That's all about resisting the urge to buy fancy stuff just to show off. Second, live on less. A simple, conscious decision to make sure your lifestyle costs less than you earn. Third, and this is a big one, get really honest about your needs versus your wants. And finally, a classic for a reason, eat at home. It's one of the fastest ways to slash your spending.
That second principle, live on less, really hits home for me because of my dad.
He grew up in Shanghai with almost nothing, and there were nights he went to bed hungry. So for him, when he finally started making money, saving wasn't about getting rich. As the quote says, it was about security. It was about making sure that he and his family would never, ever have to feel that kind of hunger again.
But what about the wants? I mean, this isn't about depriving yourself of all of life's pleasures, right? Of course not. The key is just to be smart and frugal about it. It's about getting good value. For example, a $350 wallet seems really expensive, but if you use it every single day for 5 years, well, that's over 1,800 days. Do the math. You're paying less than 20 cents a day for something you love and use constantly. It's about making smart, long-term choices, not just depriving yourself.
So let's bring this all home. We've talked about culture, government policy, budgeting systems, and personal principles. But when you boil it all down, what's the one thing you should really take away from all this? It really comes down to a fundamental shift in how you see your money.
And here it is. This is the real secret. The Chinese approach to saving, it isn't really about being cheap or frugal. It's about being intentional. It's about moving away from a scarcity mindset, where your budget is just a long list of things you can't afford, and moving toward an intentional mindset, where you are the one in control, telling every single dollar what you want it to do for you.
So the main idea is to be intentional. Understand the cultural pressures around you, adopt a clear system like zero-based budgeting to give every dollar a job, and live by principles that prioritize long-term security and value. And that leaves us with one final, pretty important question for you to think about. Take a look at your own finances. Is your budget built on scarcity? Is it just a list of restrictions and things you can't have? Or is it a plan for abundance? Is it a tool you're using to build the life you actually want? Because that shift in perspective, it makes all the difference in the world.